Tears of the Kingdom has been out for about 2 months, and in that time, I've been able to beat my new favorite video game. But it begs the question, who is the best boss? What's up, nerds? It's me, the Captain. Welcome back to Nerd Harbor. Today, I'm going to rank all 20 bosses in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, only 15% of you guys are actually subscribed, so if you're not subscribed, make sure you do so. It would really make my day, and let's try to get to 20% as soon as possible. Before we get started, please note that everything I say is just my opinion, so if you disagree with something I say, that's totally fine. Also, there are some pretty heavy spoilers ahead. The quests, regional phenomena, find the 5th sage, Master Kohga of the Yiga clan, and defeat Ganondorf are all spoiled in this video. So, if you don't like spoilers and haven't completed those quests, I'd suggest you come back another time. Well, with all that said, let's just go ahead and get started. Likes aren't really a boss. They're not super hard. They will attack you, and then you attack them, and literally get a crit every single time. This like is covered in sludge, so it has a little protection, but you can also make it vulnerable to attacks by using Sidon's power, or literally any water element. It is shooting sludge everywhere, making it pretty hard to get to, but you can also get rid of the sludge with Sidon's power super easily. So the Sludge Like's boss fight is super easy and pretty boring, and that's why it is the worst boss. Hinoxes are pretty decent bosses. You can't really do damage unless you hit them in their eye. The only problem is that with so many cool and crazy new boss fights, the Hinox becomes a little bit boring. It's a simple concept, but they can be kind of scary if you're new to the game. But as a Breath of the Wild player that has recently beat Tears of the Kingdom, I feel like more of the adrenaline rush comes from bosses like Gleeok or Phantom Ganon. Stalnoxes are almost exactly like Hinoxes, except for the fact that they are skeletons. They aren't any harder or easier than a Hinox, but they are more fun in my opinion, just because the skeletal art style of them is kind of funny. Overall, they're both basically one and the same. I hate the Queen Gibdo. Like, I absolutely hate it. It is so infuriating. It would have gotten last if I hadn't rematched it and did a little bit better when recording this. But still, Riju's power is really hard to use when a Queen Gibdo is throwing tornadoes at you all the time. And when the Gibdos show up, it's basically over. Phase 1 is just the Queen Gibdo, but in Phase 2 you have to make destroying the hives your priority. But the Queen Gibdo can still attack you, so you're just running from the Gibdos and their queen, not able to do anything, because Riju is taking her sweet time to recharge, and there's still 3 hives left, and it's so terrible! I know some people think the Yunobo boss fight isn't good, but I like it. I think the fact that you actually fight Yunobo is super cool. He's mind-controlled by this evil mask, and so you have to dodge his attacks and then hit him to break the mask. He has super low health and only takes 3 hits, but nonetheless, the moment when you realize you're about to fight Yunobo is super cool, and I enjoyed the fight, even if it's one of the worst. Molduga are super cool and pretty scary bosses. They're a little bit harder now because we no longer have remote bombs, but you can still drop an item and use that instead. Molduga are pretty hard too. They're for the perfect experience level. They are definitely not for newbies, but you don't have to be super experienced to take one on and get the rewards. It can still be pretty tedious if you don't have the best weapons, but overall, I still think it's pretty good. Taluses were a super fun part of Breath of the Wild, and now they have a brand new variant, the Battle Talus. Most of the time, the enemies on the Battle Talus are pretty easy, but it's still really fun. When fighting a Talus, you usually have to get on top of the Talus to hit the ore deposit, but using a new mechanic from Tears of the Kingdom called Ascend, you can instantly pop up on top of it and defeat it. It's so much fun. The Seized Construct is the final boss at the end of the Spirit Temple, and it makes Mineru's ability seem actually fun to use. It's a big old called Evil Robot, and it's super cool. The fight is very formulaic, but still it is fun. It's a really cool idea, and it makes me really grateful that they aren't just using blights over and over for the dungeons in this game. But yeah, the Seized Construct overall is just a really good time. Frox are brand new, exclusive to the Depths, epic bosses. Similar to the Stone Talus, Frox have ore deposits on their back, meaning you have to do everything in your power to break those deposits without getting hurt. They're really exciting to fight. It feels like this high-risk, high-reward situation, but the moment its health bar appears on screen, you know it is on. They're really cool, and I definitely suggest keeping an eye out for these guys when in the Depths. The Fire Temple's final boss is Marbled Gohma, and boy was this a pretty sick fight. You have to shoot Yunobo at its leg so you can hit its eye, but in phase 2 it jumps onto the ceiling and you have to shoot Yunobo around the room to knock it down, and then you can attack it. While that's happening, it's shooting explosives at you, which you can recall to attack it instead. All of that at the same time was really cool, and I had a pretty fun time fighting Marbled Gohma. Moragia is a giant volcano lava dragon that wants to keep you from entering the underground temple under the volcano. I know it's crazy, just bear with me. Now what do? You fly a rocket ship, and this rock guy launches himself off the plane so he can blow up the dragon before they can hit you with lava balls. You know, sometimes I feel like Nintendo has lost their grip on reality. You can't really control the glider, so sometimes it feels like a cutscene, but it's still really fun, so I honestly don't care. I do kind of wish that there was a way to rematch them where you wouldn't have the glider and it would seem more like an actual fight than a cutscene. But whatever, it's still a lot of fun. So oh crap, autocorrect. So the Mucktorok is a super cool boss. It pops out of this pile of sludge, and at first you expect it to be super crazy, but it's just this little Octorok dude. It doesn't seem like it'll be a super hard fight, but then it spits out a freaking shark! A shark made of evil muck that it'll ride like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. When the Mucktorok is this shark, the music is this giant ballad with horns and drums, but when it's the Octorok, the music is this mix of xylophone and kazoo. The whole vibe of the boss fight is just perfect, and generally really cool. Gleeoks, my gosh, are absolutely terrifying. When you first come across one, it scares the crap out of you. It's the same kind of rush when I first encountered a Lynel in Breath of the Wild. Except now, it's from a giant three-headed fire, ice, lightning, or all of the above type of dragon. They are so epic, but they are also super hard to fight. You have to hit them in their eyes, then you can attack them. But they are crazy powerful, so even just getting to them is super hard. It was just a perfect idea of Nintendo to have Gleeok's return. Like I said before, your first fight with a Lynel is so freaking scary, but once you've fought them enough, it becomes less scary and more of a fun and exciting time. I love fighting Lynels. Their fighting style eventually becomes formulaic, but that does not make it boring. Fighting a Lynel is such an exciting experience, and I really love battling and fighting these Lynels. There are two types of Phantom Ganon. The Phantom Ganon that's part of the Crisis at Hyrule quest, and the Phantom Ganon that you have to beat the Gloom Hands to fight. Both are pretty hard. The one in the Crisis quest will have multiple versions of itself, and you with your sages will have to take it down one by one. But he can also spawn throughout Hyrule with the Gloom Hands. Obviously you have to beat them first, which in itself is a challenge. But then, when the final hand is fallen and Phantom Ganon's name pops up on screen, it is such a scary moment. Phantom Ganon definitely is not the hardest boss. I'd say any of the temple bosses are harder than Phantom Ganon, but I still think that he is one of the best bosses. Fighting Master Kohga it's so goofy. First of all, he's not dead? What? Second of all, his fights are some of the most fun. For whatever reason, he wants your auto-build ability, even though he can create all of his Zonai devices from thin air, but whatever, you do you, man. The first Kohga battle, he has a car. The second, he has a plane. Third, he has a boat. And the last one, he has a giant evil construct. All of these battles are a whole lot of goofy Kohga fun. And once you've beaten him all 4 times, he accidentally shoots himself to the surface with rockets. He's a hilarious boss. One of the craziest new bosses are these Flux Constructs. They're literally a 10-year-old when they buy a book on Minecraft Redstone. You can pull apart the Flux Construct with Ultra Hand and then attack it. It's a very weird and interesting boss fight, but I always enjoy falling from the sky and finding one of these guys to fight. Colgera is the Scourge of the Wind Temple, and oh my gosh, it is so much fun to fight. And its attack style is formulaic and unpredictable at the same time, and I love it. You have to destroy the ice and the purple glass thingies on the Colgate toothpaste, but doing so is not an easy task. You can use arrows or jump through it yourself to hurt the Colgera, and it is so crazy fun. And the music is perfect too. The orchestral Sky Ballad is one of the best Zelda songs I've ever heard, and it makes the Colgera fight way better than it already was. The Demon Dragon is the final boss from Tears of the Kingdom, and boy is it crazy. Here's a little lore spoiler for you. Those rock collectors you have for friends are wearing a giant piece of ibuprofen. Uh-oh, side effects are turning into an immortal freaking dragon. And Ganondorf just took that ibuprofen without even drinking a cup of water. This turns him into a giant dragon, which you have to fight and clear up all his gloom acne. So, jokes aside, this battle is sick. The light dragon shows up to help you, and you can ride it until you reach a point to jump off and hit the demon dragon. Riding a dragon itself is amazing, but fighting one took my breath away. This definitely tops the Dark Beast Ganon fight. All those other bosses are great and all, but my favorite boss from Tears of the Kingdom is the Demon King Ganondorf. Ganondorf is one of the first people you meet. And throughout the game, you learn that he was a Gerudo chief that stole a secret stone, went beast mode, and attempted to destroy Hyrule. Luckily, that goat guy Rauru stopped him, but only froze him in time. Recently, he's been recharging his power in Gloom, and now is strong enough to face you. The first time you fight him, he isn't super hard to beat, but then he goes beast mode again, and is this scary? You're just sitting there like,
look at little
hero of Hyrule.
Gonna cry?
He is super tough, and he can even dodge your attacks like a flurry rush. You have to double dodge to even get a single hit in. Your sages won't even help you. They just sit there like, yeah, you got this, woohoo, go Link. That looks really hard, but I'm not gonna help you, why would I? Even if it's probably the hardest fight in the game, I really love it. And I think it's definitely a perfect way to top off TOTK. And that's why the Demon King Ganondorf is the best boss in The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any new content coming soon. I'm also live streaming a Tears of the Kingdom series most Sundays, so if you're free, go check them out. If you couldn't tell, I really like all the bosses from Tears of the Kingdom, except you. Nintendo did a really good job designing the game, and it's a whole lot of fun every time I play it. Well, that's all for now. Waluigi for Smash, Chaos forever. I'll see you guys next time.